I don't want to get started on the Indian rupee because obviously the Indian budget will be important. What is your own sense? Because the RBI has been holding the line, in terms of shoring up for forex reserves, which means that the currency has been absolutely tight. There's been no movement over the last 12 months.
Yeah, in fact, I think that is how the market is getting comfort from. It is a very tightly managed currency, right?
Yeah.
So 6 to 8 months over the past 6 to 8 months, trading range has been extremely tight, as you mentioned. The ups and downs in the dollar index didn't seem to matter much. I think it speaks for a very good candidate for yield carry currencies because it is tightly managed. The market is not so much testing the credibility of RBI because FX reserves are ample. So in that context, I think this is one of our favorite currencies to play the yield carry trades this year. Conducive for a backdrop for yield carry currencies when the Fed starts to get into the rate cutting cycle. So Indian rupee is actually one of our top picks for this year.
Yeah, and so where do you expect the range to be for the currency for the better part of this year in response to what may come by on the policy front?
Yeah, I think the upper bound we have seen is roughly 83.5. And the lower bound is a bit more interesting because it depends at which level they will start to accumulate FX reserves a bit more strongly. But having said that, I think there is potential to break even below the 82 handle, especially when the Fed starts to cut rates. The dollar index move a little bit more. I think it could actually end the year closer to about 81.50 to 82.
Speaking of the Fed, what are your expectations for, let's just call it, tonight? Do you think that we are going to get any kind of signals that QT is on the cards, or do you think, the QRA just changed everything? Because I would imagine that apart from that, realistically, we're just waiting and hoping for whether the first cut comes in March or it comes in May, but it is coming.
Yeah. QT definitely will be discussed as they hinted over the past few weeks. And I think the market is watching out for that, expecting that. So there would be no big surprise in our view. It is interesting whether they do or do not push back against market expectations for March cut. I think they're actually pretty comfortable. The market is pricing in 10, 11 bips. Yeah. It is actually just nice to let them wait and see because there is 2 months of data. They want the option to be able to cut as well. So I don't think we will see a big pushback. I think they would sound pretty comfortable with where inflation is heading. But overall, the reality is that the data is still on the strong side. Jobs data overnight, for example, right? So I don't think they will cut aggressively this year, but they would be happy to keep much on the table.